This had horror movie written all over it. Middle of the night, check. Quiet and bleak morgue with a flickering fluorescent light, check. Working on a cadaver that could return to life, becoming a monster that might decide to eat me, double check. Jax hadn't asked me any questions, remaining silent as he drove me back to my car. There weren't any promises for the future or plans made. But he had cupped my face, kissing my forehead. I could swear the man read minds. His subtle butterfly kiss felt like I was being chastised. Later I'd be punished for lying to him. As I removed samples of tissue, I was completely cognizant the agent was watching me intently. That added to the eerie factor of the work I was performing. I'd made a mental list of chemicals that could enhance the DNA, but it would be tricky getting my hands on them. At least, not without answering a significant number of questions I couldn't answer. The stench this time was more powerful than before. Not just death and the coppery scent of blood, but also of the earth. Dirt and sweat, moss. Yes, a scent like the forest. Maybe that's where he'd been half-eaten alive. I'd noticed their faces hadn't been attacked. Maybe I had been watching too many movies. Or maybe they'd been told in some crazy language to leave the faces intact. I was chasing rainbows and unicorns at this point with my unstructured thoughts. Daphne would be proud of me for looking outside the box. I made a few notes, trying to concentrate on the condition of the man's skin. There were similar claw marks on the man's body. The addition was a bite mark that had ripped skin from the man's abdomen. As I handled the remaining organs, I gathered a sense the kill had been about food this time. I had no reason to make that assumption at this point, but it seemed logical given half his intestines were missing. I'd expected, perhaps hoped, the agent would be squeamish, but she'd surprised me by keeping a bland expression the entire time. Something else to irritate me. She remained in my leather chair, sipping on coffee as I poked and prodded at the man's abdomen. Subject appears to have a bite mark from a large canine. The animal's teeth approximately 5 inches in length. Approximately 1/2 of his upper and a portion of the victim's lower intestines were ripped out, bite mark indicating by sharp canines. Why was she sitting there, studying me as if I was the body on the slab? It was entirely too unnerving. The victim's femur is crushed, and there are signs, given material under his fingernails, that he fought back. Which was true. I swabbed several nails, hoping to find something more conclusive. The same 2 hulking men had brought the body, both waiting outside to whisk the remains away as soon as I was finished. I can't say I was unhappy about that. Everything else, including the way this had been handled, pissed me off. It would take more than a half-gallon of my favorite ice cream to feel cooled off. I tried to concentrate so I could get as far away from the situation as possible. "Where was this body found?" I finally asked, as I began typing in the last of my notes. She didn't answer me right away, and I glared at her. "In a park in Cartersville." At least that made sense with the odor. "What was he doing there in the middle of the night?" "We don't work that fast," the agent said. Her glare was as demanding as mine.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.